For 2 decades, Tim Eyman has championed initiatives that have made him both a hero and a villain, depending on the political perspective you see him from. People assume they know his politics and political motivations. What motivates him truly is the power of seeing the people have a voice.
With every initiative we've ever done, the principle was always about let the voters decide. To me, the idea is it's a victory just to qualify for the ballot. What I always loved about it is the fact that the voters were the ones making the decision. Because too often down in Olympia, some people are more important than others.
Always outspend. Many initiatives are David and Goliath battles, where size and money doesn't always matter.
It is really interesting how so many times the voters just shock us by making the decision that we didn't expect them to make. We've done so many initiatives where we're outspent $3 million to nothing or $2 million to nothing, but the voters don't care which side has more money, they care about which side has the better argument.
Initiative 976, Washington State's motor vehicle excise tax, isn't about a political party, Republican or Democrat. It's about the party in power, wielding power the wrong way and ignoring the people they represent.
The government has a tremendous amount of power over our lives, and I want the voters to have a chance to be able to put some kind of limit on that kind of power. I don't view that as left versus right. I think that is the people versus the powerful.
The fight for lower car tabs is about checks and balances.
Don't you think it's a little crazy? Our car tabs are now hundreds and many times thousands of dollars every year when we voted twice to get them lower? Isn't it annoying to you that we have voted over and over again to limit the growth of our property taxes, yet politicians keep finding ways to get around it? Doesn't it annoy you that we vote for initiatives that make it tougher for them to raise taxes, but in this last legislative session they raised taxes 12 times and raised taxes $27 billion on the final weekend in midnight? I mean, I think that brings the left and the right together to say this isn't just, left or right, this is right or wrong.
Eyman wants to remind voters that this fight is not new. It's an ongoing battle that has spanned 20 years, and no matter how elected officials try to spin it, this has always been about the will of the people.
And it was one of those 1 in a million proposals that just completely took off like a rocket. And nobody saw it coming. It was a huge, monstrous battle that we had. The other side had $2.2 million. We had nothing. And we trounced him. It was like 56% to 44%, and it was just this overwhelming victory. In January, everyone's car tabs just dropped like a rock, and everyone's paying this lower amount. And like a month or two later, a King County judge said the voters kind of didn't know what they were voting on. And so I'm going to strike this initiative down and say it just didn't happen. Governor Gary Locke, a Democrat, held a press conference that day, and he said, regardless of the court's ruling today, $30 license tabs are here to stay. I just think back, we tried in 98, we tried it in 99, we did it again in 16, 17, 18, and now we're gonna vote in 2019. 20 years after the first time we voted for it, we're voting for the same thing.
What is also not new are the lies and scare tactics those in power try to use to manipulate the voters. They claim that projects like light rail and others are jeopardized, but the electorate statewide see the abuse, pork, and cost overruns of projects that few of them will ever use, and say, so what?
Well, one of the most exciting things about $6.95 in 1999 to lower our car tabs down to $30, we have a think tank in the state of Washington called the Washington Policy Center. And they wrote a paper that said $6.95, 1 year later, the sky didn't fall. And they examined every single lie and scare tactic used by the opponents during the campaign and compared it to reality 1 year later. Did it actually come true? They couldn't find a single example of what they said would happen actually happened. So in 2016, Sound Transit puts on the ballot a proposal that says we want $54 billion from all of you people, and we want you in the Puget Sound region to vote for this. And the voters voted for it. So there's an argument that says, well, it's not fair. Your initiative is overturning what the voters locally ended up voting on. The problem is that they said your car tabs will go up about $80 if you vote for this thing. And now everyone's getting the bill, and it's $300, $500, $600, $800 more. So is it voter approval if your government lies to you in order to be able to get you to vote for it? What's wrong with going back and asking the voters, now that you know the truth, now that you know how expensive they are, do you think this is fair?
The opposition to Initiative 976 has garnered the support of big dollar donors, and many in the media alike. Many have tried to muddy the waters and confuse the voters. But this initiative is really simple.
So our new initiative, what it does is it says everyone's going to pay $30 to license their vehicle, but in the future, if they ever want to bring back higher vehicle tabs, they have to be doing it based on the actual value of your vehicle and not be allowed to artificially inflate it in the future.
Tim Eyman believes that if the voters have a chance to learn what the initiative is all about, they'll support it. But the people still have to get out and vote.
Probably the biggest challenge we have with $30 tabs initiative is that it's an off election year. It is not a presidential year. A lot of people don't vote in off election years, but this is the most important issue on the November ballot. I mean, it is the first initiative you're going to vote on. It's the only initiative you're going to vote on is whether or not you want to lower these vehicle tabs back down to $30 again.
The voters have spoken on the $30 motor vehicle excise tab initiative before. It's not the first time they've been called upon to speak, and every vote matters.
And you need to respect that decision and not find ways to sidestep it, not tack on taxes and fees that are taking away what we clearly voted for. The beauty of $30 tabs, the thing I love about it, is it's so defined. There's only one number that equals $30, and that's $30. And when your politicians can't understand that basic concept, you need to slap them upside the head with an initiative like this one. So it's Initiative 976. It's on the November ballot. It's the first initiative on the ballot. It's the first thing you're going to vote on. I hope people vote yes on it.